Good morning. It was great to get back to work this week, coming off the bye. It's good to have Denzel and Greedy back in the mix. We definitely have a big challenge ahead of us this week, going against what many consider probably the best quarterback to play the game and one of the best coaches to ever coach this game. So we've got a big challenge ahead. And with that, I'll take your questions.
About facing their offensive line from the standpoint, Skarnecki has been in charge of it so long, and no matter who they throw out there, it seems to be cohesive and effective, and it is this year. But what is it when you study their offensive line? What are the components that you see about it?
I think they're efficient, as you just mentioned. The O-line coach has been there for a long period of time. I think also Brady has a lot to do with that in controlling things up front with the protection. He does a tremendous job in really getting the ball out quick. I think those guys are dynamic in the run game, for us coming off the ball, trying to get to the second level with the linebackers. They do a great job of cutting off the backside. So, again, we just got to do a great job playing with our hands, striking and shedding up front.
Coach, what's unique about Julian Edelman?
It's so many things, but I think he's just probably the best receiver in the slot. He's just so dynamic, extremely smart, quick, physical. I like the mere fact that he's not just a receiver that catches the ball. He does a lot of the dirty work when you start looking at how he blocks, coming back inside in the core, blocking on linebackers and safety. So hard-nosed, tough player that can definitely make things happen. He can change the game at any moment.
What does he add to their offense?
I think he adds exactly what I just said, just the toughness, the physicality. He's a guy that's not afraid to block. He's going to catch the ball across the middle. Competed against him quite a bit in the NFC South. So good receiver. He fits definitely their mode.
Did he ever throw a pass against your defense?
Yes, he did.
You think he's ready to do that for New England?
He can. He's shown that in the past. I know they've always had that in their offense, New England I'm talking about. So it's something we definitely got to be prepared for.
Number one, long drives against your defense, but New England seems to be really good when they have the ball early, putting together like a 6-minute drive or an 8-minute drive in the first quarter. What does that do to a team when they're able to come out and do that?
Well, I mean, again, it just, sometimes it takes the cell out of you a little bit. But, we got to do a great job of really trying to, stop that momentum as much as we can, get off the field on third down. We can't allow Brady to sustain drives. Again, he's just so dynamic in doing that. These guys try to stay ahead of the sticks. They operate on third and short. We got to find a way to create negative plays on first and second down to try to get him in a 7+.
Age, is it just so much the cerebral game now that enables him to still be so amazing?
Extremely smart, very talented, accurate with the ball. He's been in that system for so long. He makes everybody around him so much better. Knows how to get rid of the ball. He's not going to take a sack. Can get the offense in the right situation based off what he's seeing defensively. So very smart, highly intelligent, and very efficient with the ball.
Some of their famous losses, think of the 2 to the Giants in the Super Bowl. The effective way of defending him is with a 4-man rush up front, having a great day up front, and being able to keep enough players back to cover.
Well, when you talk about the Giants, you got to understand exactly the 4 that they had up front.
Yeah, right.
Okay, and they had 4 other guys that were on the bench right here. So they had that particular year, they had a great rotation of 8 guys. But you're right. I mean, you got to pretty much try to defend them with 4. You blitz him, as I mentioned before. Excuse me, he gets rid of the ball so quick. So you got to be creative with your coverages and some of the things that you're doing, trying to make him hold the ball.
What I was getting at, everyone's the coach. Kitchens has said repeatedly he thinks the defensive front is the strength of this team. I mean, here it is. This is why they would put together for a game like this, I would think, right?
I would say so. And not only this game, every game is just trying to make a difference up front in the things that we're doing. We can't shy away from the mere fact they have a great running game. So we got to make sure that we do a great job of stopping the run first and trying to put those guys in the situation, as I said before, trying to get them in the 3rd and long.
When you were on a team that beat New England a couple of years ago, do you come away from a game like that, even though it was a high-score game, saying, we did everything we could, so I can live with a high-score game and a win, or what was that game like?
Well, anytime you can get a win in the National Football League, it really doesn't matter the score. And when you're facing Brady, it's hard to try to limit, his touches and his opportunity for us getting the ball in the end zone. So we got to, as Freddie talk about all the time, we got to complement one another in all 3 phases. So that was a great feeling. I think that was probably the last time they lost up there. So we're going to try to do everything that we can to put ourselves in that same situation.
Do you have a good problem to have this week in terms of Denzel and Greedy coming back, and yet TJ and Terrence have done a nice job in their absence?
They have. TJ and Terrence have done a great job. And, again, it's great to have Denzel and Greedy back. Those guys are practicing well. We're going to see exactly what they can do this week and how much workload they can take. But all 4 of those guys, to me, are deserving.
Steve, why do you say they have a great running game? The numbers don't say that, but obviously you think there's something beyond
well,
that.
when you look at the 2 backs that they have, in White and Michelle, I think, in my opinion, I think it's a good 1-2 punch. The numbers may not be there. It could be a combination of things. They're throwing the ball maybe more based off who they're facing. But I think they have the means and the talent and the skill to be able to run the ball well. And we got to make sure that we do everything that we can to stop that run.
You mentioned Belichick at the beginning of it. How much does he add to a week when you're facing him and his team? Just the fact that a lot of people consider him the greatest.
Again, he just, to me, very smart. He's going to make sure that his team is prepared like they are each and every week. The one thing that New England's not going to do, they're not going to beat themselves. And that's one of the things that we got to learn how to do here, is not try to beat ourselves and put ourselves in position to win football games. And it starts with really limiting the penalties and both sides of the ball. So most importantly, on the defensive side, we got to do a great job of being smart, putting ourselves in position to make plays.
Out of all the things you can say about Tom Brady's legacy, what impresses you most when you think of him?
The consistency. The guy is Mr. Consistent in everything that he does. You just look at the number of wins they've had over the number of years, his performance each and every week. So he's just consistent.
You talk about how tough it is to sack him, and Miles was saying yesterday when you see him just dump the ball on the ground, it's frustrating for a pass rusher. How do you combat that?
I think someone said it earlier, based off really trying to change up what you're doing on the back end with your coverages. He's going to try to find those windows. We got to make sure we tighten those windows up, get a body on the body to try to make him hold the football, so therefore Miles, OV, and those other guys can get there up front.
I was saying yesterday how he kind of wants to see the defensive line kind of take over a game. Have you seen any signs of that coming?
I have at spurts, but we need the consistency there. I think we have the talent up front to be able to do that. And as someone mentioned earlier, this is a perfect game, right, for those guys to step up and try to, be that dominant force up front.
In terms of getting Denzel and Greedy back, what are some of the general things that their presence and the other guys now are depth instead of starters? What are some of the things that the presence of a healthy secondary will mean to the overall capability of the defense?
Well, number one, just their skill set. You look at both of those guys, coming out of college, they come from a program that played a lot of man, and this is a game that we may have to do that just to be able to tighten things up, as you just mentioned earlier. So the physicality in the run game, these guys do a great job of blocking support, so our corners got to come up and replace on the edges. So, again, to have both of those guys back is exciting. We'll see exactly how much they play this week.
Over the bye weekend that would enable Jannard Avery to perhaps get on the field, and kind of what's been going on with him? Is he not necessarily a fit in your defense, or what's kind of up?
It's not so much that, and I know there's a lot of speculation out there, but I think when you look at the big picture, when you talk about, 53 guys, if you guys really want to try to help us out, I think you can petition to the league. I don't know if it will work, to where you may get all 53 guys up on game day. When you look at the big picture, sometimes it equates special teams. You know, it's just not defense and what we're trying to get done. It's really the big picture of the team. So, you know, which guys are up, you know, who's going to help out more on special teams. The rotation that particular week up front on defense, is it more of a running team? Do we need more of a run stopper in there? I think Jannard brings a great skill set. I think he has tremendous speed off the edge. I think he has the ability to be able to get to the quarterback and sometimes affect the game in a positive way. So we'll see exactly what happens this week and who's up. And I'm sure if he is, he'll make a major impact in the game.
On the topic of defensive back depth, Eric Murray's a guy who may get lost in the shuffle now with everyone coming back. What does he show you through those first 6 games that gives you confidence when he's out there?
I like, number one, his physicality. I pride myself on having a physical secondary, and that's the one thing that he's shown over the weeks. And we're going to need that this week, particularly being in the slot with Edelman. So a guy that's going to get in there and do the dirty work, I think he's a guy that would do that. Again, he's physical in the run game, but we're going to have to play a physical style of game in order to give us a chance to win.
I know you're focused on the Patriots' offensive side of the ball, but the fact that they're doing what they're doing on defense, and especially getting the number of turnovers that they've been able to get, just how amazing is that, and what do you attribute it to the fact that they're able to have 22 through 7 games?
It's pretty amazing. Those guys do a good job of really disguising their coverages. I think up front, they come off the ball well, put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. You look on the back end, I think McCourty, I think someone said he has like 5 interceptions. And they just played a dominating game the other night. So definitely something to try to pattern yourself after of. I think they do a tremendous job, and hopefully we can try to get the same thing going this week on our side of the ball.